and we will get started. We're going to start in a standing position. We have a little bit of strengthening work at the front end and then a little core work when we come down onto the ground. So for the first, before we even hit that timer, take your arms, reach them up and overhead and spread your fingers, lift your toes, take a nice big yawning, reaching stretch. You take the inhale to stretch, exhale takes you into a little softness, and then take it over to one side. Take an inhale, get that yawn and stretch through the side of your body. Exhale takes you back to center, and then inhale over to the other side. Take that last yawning stretch, bring it back to center, and then just let your arms come down. And now we're going to go for a roll down, come up halfway, and then hinge up. So you're going to bend your knees. You're going to roll down, peel your back away from the imaginary wall, come up halfway. So for my yoga friends, think half forward fold, and then push down into your heels, come up with that nice long spine. So we're going flexion as we go down. Inhale up to a neutral spine, bend your knees, push into your heels, come up nice and slow. And then as you do this work here, you're just going to kind of tune in and notice, how does your back feel? How do the backs of your legs feel? We got some staggered stance deadlifts, and I would highly recommend that you use some nice heavy weights when we go there. Ten seconds left. And time. Nicely done. All right, come on up, and we're taking it into a cross crawl. So just opposite hand to opposite knee. And think of this as getting a little bit of rotation, a little bit of hip flexion, a little bilateral stimulation, because we're going across the midline of the body, opposite hand to opposite knee. Checking in with our balance, checking in with our coordination. How's everything feeling this morning? And then just to tell you where we're going next, we'll be doing our 50 jumps. 50 jumps is meant to help with our bone density. It's meant to help with our aliveness of our tendons. But sometimes kicking it off with some jumping is just like, if your energy level is like no jumping today, then you'll maybe just do a little bit of bouncing. Got about 12 seconds left here. So you just kind of get a sense, like, where are you at this morning? What's going to feel good? 5 seconds left. Nice. All right, when you're ready, we're taking it into our jumping. We go for a little bit of a rapid pace, and we go for some consecutive jumps. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 48, 49, 50. Nice job. All right, grab your heaviest weights. We're going right into our staggered stance deadlift. We're going to go 30 seconds, 1 foot forward, 30 seconds with the other foot forward. So grab your hand weights, load up as heavy as you can, stagger your stance. And then once you've got your staggered stance, shift your weight a little bit forward so it feels like it's a lot more into that front foot. And then push your butt way back. Exhale as you come up and push down into your front foot heel as you come up. We got 30 seconds. Strength building, so it's nice and slow and steady, and we go a little bit with that breath focus. Inhale as you go down, push your butt back. Exhale, push down into that front foot heel, come up and squeeze your butt. All right, the next time you come up, switch your stance and then right back to it. Shift your weight so it's slightly into that front leg. Push your butt back. Exhale as you come up. You've got it. Nice job. So breath coordination, I go for it. I'm into it. But sometimes it's just like, just make sure you breathe. We don't want to hold our breath or kind of grip as we go and do our work. All right, that's time. Come on up. Still sticking with our heavy weights. Now we're going into some bicep curls. For the first 20 seconds, low end. So you're just going to come up to the elbow bend and lower down. We got 20 seconds. And then at the 20-second mark, we'll take it up to the halfway high point. And then at the last 20 seconds, we'll go full range of motion. All right, now take it up to the high half. Beautiful. Nice elbow connection to that side body. That looks amazing. All right, now take it full range of motion. All right, that's time. Stick with those heavy weights. We're going right into some calf raises. So first 30 seconds, full range of motion, either load up at your side, like a little bit of a farmer's hold, holding the weights just a little away from the side of the body, or more centered weight, take it up to your chest. So just go for the hold that feels really good. 30 seconds, go for full range of motion. All right, now take it into half range of motion and maybe a slightly quicker pace. But we still want good control. So if it's getting like wobbly in the ankles or buckling around, go a little bit slower, get good control first. That half calf raise will really pump up the muscles. So a little bit of a quicker pace so that you feel that good pump of that lactic acid buildup in the muscles. All right, that's time. Take a second. Woo, shake your legs out. Set one hand weight down unless you have under 5 pounds, in which case you're going to stick with both of them. Now we're going to go into alternating lunges. If you've got a nice heavy weight, you're going to hold it sideways. You're going to lunge. You're going to twist, touch down to the ground, come up, and then put it up on the high shelf. And then you're going to switch your stance. Bend down, touch the ground, put it on the high shelf. That's the work. Go for the heaviest weight that you can stand for this one. But we want that good, still we want to build that good slow control. So even though we bend down and touch the ground, we want to make sure that we're in good control. Our feet feel like they've landed so that we've organized ourselves in a way that makes good sense. And then if you go in for that breath coordination, inhale as you go down, touch the ground. Exhale as you come up and put it on the high shelf. Three seconds left. All right, that's time. Put all weights down. Now we're taking it into a touch of bone density work and a touch of fascial work. So 20 seconds, bone density heel drops, get that good impact, pick it up and let your body just come right down onto the ground. When we do the bone density work though, we want that consecutive. So we want to just keep it going. Feel that good impact in your body. You want to hear it in your breath. You want to feel it in your limbs. All right, now we're taking it into the fascial work. So you're just going to bounce your knees, bounce, 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 bounce. Nice and bouncy. Stay a little bit upright in your chest. It's really just about getting a little bit of that jelliness into your knees. Three seconds left. All right, now you're just going to pat, pat, pat around your knees. Kind of do the front, you do the side, you do the inside, get the knee pits, just pat, 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 pat. All right, that's time. Come on up, give everything a little shake. Now we're gonna put our looping resistance band on. We're gonna go for around the thighs for a little sideways monster walk. If you don't have your looping resistance band, no worries. You're just gonna stay nice and low. You might even grab a hand weight just to give you something to give you that sense of resistance. Otherwise, take your booty band, kick your legs up into the loop. You want it over the knee joint for this one. So step into your band. And we're working on that sideways walk. We just want to get a little action for our side hips. So come down into a nice little light squat position. And then you take a couple of walks to one side and then you go over to the other side. Shoot for keeping a nice lift in the chest. So gaze forward. We're not going to try to look down at the ground if we can help it. And you can vary up like the reach of your step. So sometimes I go for like a nice little step, and sometimes I go for a little bit of a bigger step, just to play around with what can my body do? How far can I reach out and come back in with good control? You've got it. 20 seconds left. All right, that's time. Take a second, kick that band off from around your thighs. We will come back to using it later, but for right now, kick it off. And then once you've got it off of your legs, now's where we're going into that coming down, going up. Now you can choose your own adventure here. You can do everything from the standing position. You come down with a lunge, you look under the bed, you come back up, return all the way up to standing, and think of it as a soft variation of a surrender. Or you can stay in the low lunging position, staying down, look under the bed, switch your lunge, stay down, look under the bed to the other side. So we want to switch our lead foot no matter which one you're going to go with. You can use an assist. So maybe it feels good to add a chair or a yoga block, that you want to come all the way down. You want to turn your head like you're looking underneath the bed. Come up hands free, come up with an assist, play around with all the ways that you can come up. Look under the bed, and then back up you go. You've got it. Nice work. All right, that's time. Now, as you come down, you're going to stay down. Now we're going to take it into crisscross applesauce rolls with a bent knee side plank on each side. So you're going to come into a little crisscross applesauce. Now, for some of our bodies, crisscross applesauce doesn't feel awesome. So sometimes it's nice to put your roll of blanket underneath your butt. Then we're going to roll. So you're going to crisscross applesauce, roll off to one side, pick up into a little bit of a side plank with those bent knees, come through your crisscross applesauce position, bent knee side plank to the other side. We've got 1 minute on the clock, slow and steady. Think of this as good strength building for side body, obliques, shoulder nice and stacked, a little bit of mobility work in between. Now, if you have a mischievous wrist, when you go into that side planking position, go pinky finger side down, blade edge of the hand, elbow and forearm are going to give you that nice, good assist. And then you push into the pinky side blade edge of your hand as you come up. And just see if that feels nice and strong, or does it feel just kind of awkward? Because sometimes for some of us, it's going to feel great. And then for some of us, it's like, I felt better when I had just my straight arm, normal wrist position. 10 seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're taking it into tabletop position and we're going to go into a bird dog with a knee hover. So for some of us, roll the blanket underneath the wrist is going to give that nice cushioning and support. For some of us, underneath the knees. Now I'll say I think that the roll of blanket underneath the knees does create a little bit more of a challenge. So if you like that extra challenge, cushion underneath your knees. Now we go opposite hand, opposite leg stretch out, come in, other side, go out, come in. And then in the middle, we pick up into a little hover, hold for about a 3 count, and then lower it down. Take your time as you go. Bird dog is all about coming back into that stability or finding stability all along the way. So there's a potential for wobbliness as you reach the limbs out. Can you engage your muscles and coordinate in a way that makes good sense? Use your breath to help support. You're already halfway there. All right, that's time. Now we're going to come down into prone position, down on our belly. But I would suggest at least playing with it, see how it feels, and then leave it off if it doesn't feel supportive. Take your roll of blanket or take your roll of towel. It's going to come underneath the front pockets of your jeans. So here we got a little bit more mobility work. So you're going to get that underneath your hip points. And then we're going to go into a seal position. So we swing the hands out, we lift up into a gentle back bend. And then as we swing in, we come into a little triangle where our pinky finger sides down, and then we lift up away from that roll of blanket. Lower your hips back to the blanket, swing your fingers out to the corners of your mat, lift up into that back bend, come back down, fingers come in, triangle with the base of support being that pinky side, lift up and lower down. We've got 1 minute on the clock, slow and steady. And then just see if that pinky side feels good and sturdy. For me, it feels amazing. I feel like I'm suddenly like, I can hold like 10 more pounds of my body. It's like an efficient line of work, right? So, but if it might not feel good for everybody, so you're going to play around and see if that pinky blade edge triangle feels good for that planking position. Go where it feels nice. Go where you feel strong and confident. Ten seconds left. To tell you where we're heading next, we'll be in a high kneel position and we'll use our looping resistance band to work into our triceps. But if high kneel doesn't feel good, you can go into a standing position, but you also have your blanket available, so you might just cushion underneath your knees. So come up into your high kneel position, grab your looping resistance band. We're going to hold the looping resistance band against one shoulder, and then your other hand, go 4 fingers in, thumb out, palm facing forward, and then we hold it firm up against the shoulder and we do a nice little press out. So you want to just bend your elbow, keep a nice good firm hold. Got it. We got 30 seconds on this side. Take a second to get comfortable in your stance, and then once you're comfortable, away we go. All right, when you're ready, take a second, flip it over to the other side. Grab the shoulder, 4 fingers in, thumb out, palm facing out, and we press. Nice. Of course, because we're working with a resistance band, we don't let it snap us in. We come in and out with good control. All right, that's time. Take a second. Woo, shoot out your shoulders, twinkle out your fingers. Now we're coming down onto our back. I will say that for some of us, especially if you've been enjoying the experience of having that back blanket, and I like to remind everybody that the back blanket is meant to support the curves of our back and our nervous system, but it's not a big assist. It doesn't necessarily make the work easier. It makes the work better coordinated. All right, so you're going to take your looping resistance band. If you've got a set of both, go for the mean green guy or the mean blue guy for this one. Loop it around the middle of your feet, and then we're going to go down into a long supine position. So get your band around your feet, get your back blanket behind you if you like that. We're going down and we're doing our hip rotations. So we're going to externally rotate the legs, the toes turn out, and then we bring them back to neutral position. And when we do that work, we want to hold at the out position for just a moment, just to feel that good strength, and then come back slow with good control. So come all the way down onto your back. Take a second, get everything adjusted and organized in a way that feels good. Nice little flex of the feet, turn the legs out, hold at the out position for a moment, and then slow return back to center. And then you just take your time as you go. Push out, and you want to feel like some of this work is coming from the front pockets of your jeans, tops of your thighs, a little into that TFL, so it might feel it a little bit around into the side of your glutes. So you want to feel it up here, but it looks like it's happening down there. 15 seconds left to tell you where we're heading next. We're going to be in that long lever hip bridge position, but we're going to do our hypopressive or that abdominal vacuum. So if you're like, I'm not super into the vacuums, I'd rather just do a bunch of long lever hip bridges, you'll be in position. So you'll choose your own adventure. You'll do the work that makes good sense. Of course, I'm going to cue for the hypopressive. All right, take a second. If you like, keep that band around your feet, adjust everything so that you feel comfortable on the ground, and then walk your legs out to that long lever hip bridge position. Feet are in dorsiflex position. There's about 2 fist width distance of space between the knees. Arms are going to come out anatomical position. So about 45 degrees away from the side of the body, palms facing up, spread your fingers. Anchor the back of your rib cage down, make the back of your neck nice and long. Once you've got your way there, we're going to go 3 cycles of breath. And on the last one, we'll take a vacuum and hold breath for a moment. If you have anything going on, uncontrolled blood pressure, a hernia, IBS, anything going on with the tummy that doesn't want to be stretched too much, you'll probably leave the vacuum off, just do the postural work and the breathing. Otherwise, here we go. Take a nice big rib cage filling up breath. Think big 360 breath, front to back, side to side. Exhale through your nose as slow as you can. Inhale, big 360 breath, fill your rib cage up. As you exhale, think back of the rib cage down, soft belly, let your air go. All right, last cycle of breath. Inhale, 360 breath, fill your rib cage up. And then you exhale slow, prepare, swallow, close off nose, mouth, and throat, or pinch your nose closed, keep your mouth closed, take a fake inhalation, don't let any air come in, catch a vacuum, and hold breath for a moment. And then when you're ready, release your air. Take a second to sit yourself up. Move that band out from around your feet. And now we're going to adjust our roll of blanket. So we're going to roll it up. Think of it sort of like a softer foam roller type of tool. So we're going to take it into a long spine position. This is one of those places, if you didn't have a rolled up blanket, don't worry, you can leave it off. We'll just be laying on our back. You do want your hand weights nearby because we've got some chest press is our 3rd round. So we're going to do our Pilates 100s, but with the roll of blanket down the length of our spine. We'll be doing our alternating toe taps. Choose your own adventure for that one, high or low. And then we'll do some chest press. So slow, steady strength building. All right, so bring your spine onto your roll of blanket. Get yourself organized there first. And then once you're there, for some of us, you might go blade edges of the pinkies out, lift your legs up into that reverse table, alternate your toe taps there, or stay with that lower position because you're on the blanket. It's already going to put a nice core challenge in. You might still keep those blade edges, pinky fingers anchored on the ground. Notice your breath. Now, if you're staying low and you want that somewhere in between challenge, you'll go opposite hand to opposite knee for the last few. All right, that's time. Feet back down on the ground, hands alongside the hips. On your next exhalation, curl up into that curled up crunch position. Start to pump your arms. Inhale for a count of 5. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 5. Add a little bit of tension into your fascia by dorsiflexing your feet. Keep them in that dorsiflex position. Inhale, count to 5, and exhale, count to 5. Nice work. 20 seconds left. All right, that's time. Lower your head, lower your sternum. Take a little turn of the head just to reduce any tension in the neck. And now our last round here, you're going to grab your hand weights, load up, go for as heavy as you can here. We're going into our chest press. So you're just going to load up, elbows nice and wide, press those weights up towards the ceiling, and then lower with good control. With that roll of blanket behind your spine, it will create a nice challenge for the core muscles. If you like that little bit of tension, dorsiflex your feet so you're digging your heels into the ground, stay nice and steady. And then think about anchoring your back of your rib cage into your roll of blanket as you press your weights up towards the sky. All right, that's time. Take a second, lift yourself up and away, put your weights off to the side. We're going to take our roll of blanket and now it's going to come underneath our hips. So the last minute of work is just nice. We just get a little stretch. So you're going to take your roll of blanket, lift your butt up, slide your roll underneath your butt. We want it underneath the nice, strong sturdiness of the hip bones. So it's not too much in the low back. So you feel like you can kind of reduce effort once you're there. Once you've got your roll of blanket, you could also go pillow or foam roller. You're going to pull your right knee into your chest. You're going to let your left leg go nice and long. Keep a little bit of a flex in that left foot. And then stretch your left arm up above your head. So for this particular stretching maneuver, we've got the left side in a little bit of an extension. We've got the right side in a little bit of flexion and compression. So we're decreasing blood flow on the right side. We're increasing blood flow on the left. And now when you're ready, we're going to switch the work to the other side. Pull the left knee in, let the right leg go nice and long, flex your right foot just a little bit, and then your right arm stretches up above your head. And then once you've got your way there, the breath does the rest of the work for you. And time. Nice. All right. Both legs nice and long, both arms up above your head. Flex both feet. 3 pandiculations or that yawning, stiffening stretch. As you inhale, flex your feet, spread your fingers, yawn and reach from tips of your fingers down to your heels. And then as you exhale, put a little softness back in and then do it again. Inhale, yawn and reach and stretch. Exhale brings a little softness back in. And then just one more time. Inhale, spread your fingers, flex your feet, yawn and stretch all the way through the front pockets of your jeans. And then your exhale takes you into a little bit of softness. Walk your feet back in nice and slow. Lift your butt up away from your rolled up blanket. Slide it out from underneath you. And then think one vertebrae at a time as you roll your spine down to the ground. Bring both knees up into your chest. Take your knees and rock them a little side to side. Now, as we make our way to our foam roller work, we're going to do a little bit of seated on the roller, roll across the glutes kind of stuff to start. So if you've ever wanted to play around with that slightly softer tool, the roll of blanket is a nice variation that can do myofascial release work, but it feels a little bit softer. But of course, it's harder to roll. So you kind of just do the tip forward and back versus the rolling up and down. All right, when you're ready, bring yourself up in a nice organized way. Grab your foam roller, clear your hand weights. We don't need them anymore. And then once you've got your space cleared, coming right down into a seated position, sitting our butt onto the foam roller. And then once you've got your butt onto your roller, just start to take it for that nice happy roll. Roll over to the right, roll over to the left. So sometimes when we do this work, I'm just like, stay centered across your sits bones. But sometimes it's fun, as long as you've got good control, to find different little variations of your pattern of movement. So like for me, I've been playing around with like, could I roll and push my butt back a little bit? So I'm kind of scooping under the sits bones. Could I roll and come a little bit ahead of the sits bones? So play around with how you can roll from side to side and cover a little bit more ground. Nice. Okay, the next time you're over to that right side, stay there. Tip over just a little bit more. So shove your bum back a little bit over to the right and then into a slight forward and back. So you're just leaning over the edge of the roller and then pulling your way back just a touch. Awesome. Now stay in that lean forward into it position and light butterfly flap of that low leg. One more light butterfly flap and then take it into a knee drive. Pull the knee up towards your shoulder and then kick it out and away. Lovely. One more forward and back with that leg and then roll it all the way over and across to the other side. And then shift your hips back just a touch so that you can do that little lean forward and that little lean back. All right, now next time you're tipped into it, stay there, add that little butterfly flap. Nice. One more butterfly flap and then take it into the knee drive. Knee towards the shoulder and then kick the leg away. Beautiful. One more knee drive and then roll all the way back over to the right and take it for a nice big roll up and down. When you're doing this work here, take a little inventory. Are you holding any tension in your jaw? So sometimes from our jaw to our shoulders, to our hips, to our knees, to our big toe, you may feel like you pick up tension in other places to help with the efforted work that you're doing. So see if you're holding any tension in your jaw. Can you soften your jaw just a little? All right, and then take one more good roll up and down on this side. And then when you're ready, take it over and across to the left and roll it up and down. Lovely. One more good roll up and down, and then come through center, hands to the roller. Pick your butt up, scoop it right up in front of the roller. Lean back, clip your elbows over so you hold it nice and firmly, and then rock your knees a little side to side. We're going to go low back side body, and then we'll start to work our way up. When we do low back side body, because it's like structurally slightly unsupported, we just make sure we keep a little bit of firmness in our center and use our legs and our arms to help support. When you're ready, roll a little over to the right so you're still in that soft, squishy material. And then you want to think like low back. So you're going for kind of the quadratus lumborum muscle. So think about that diamond of your low back out into that low end peak of the diamond. Beautiful. Take one more roll up and down and then hug your bum down. Stay nice and tight up against the roller. Roll over across to the other side. You're still in that soft tissue. And then you pick up your butt and you roll. Great. Take one more moment there. And then when you're ready, set your butt down, come back through center. You'll make little micro adjusts. So we're going to come slightly low to the end of the rib cage. So you're going to bring the foam roller so it's slightly low, stay in a slight curled up position, and then bring your hands behind your head. And then you want to think just like tuck up your ponytail, get your hair out of the way. Once you've got your hair out of the way, lower over the roller, think gentle back bend, and then use your exhalation, lift your sternum up. Inhale, press your head into your hands or hands into your head. And then exhale, imagine it's got a string tied to your sternum and you just pick it up nice and slow. Inhale as you lean back. Exhale as you pick it up. Go for about 3 more if you can. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to roll. So pick up your butt and slow roll all the way up to the tops of the shoulders and all the way to that low end of the rib cage. For this one, so sometimes I move fast, sometimes I talk fast, I move quick. But for this particular one, if you can slow it down to a pace that feels slow to you, that might look different on each of our bodies, but slow to you so that your spine, that house of your nervous system just feels like it's held, it's supported, it gets that nice, gentle myofascial aliveness. And then we just take it in that slow, controlled movement. Take your time as you go. All right, one more good slow roll, and then we're going to take that foam roller so it comes underneath the soft curve of the neck. So you're going to get it underneath the soft curve of your neck. Make sure it feels good and gentle and held, supported, nice way. And then once you've got it under the soft curve of your neck, gentle head turns. Turn your head a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. Keep your head turning, and I'm going to talk you where we're going next, and then you'll just kind of play with how your hands land, how you can negotiate your work with the foam roller. So we're going to roll the roller in a compressive roll. So you almost want to think like you're turning the dial, right? You're going to roll the roller so that you can roll the roller up to meet your occipital ridge. So you're going to use your hands in whatever way works good, and you're going to push your head down into the roller and roll the roller up so it slowly and incrementally finds its way up to the occipital ridge. And then once you've got it up underneath that ridge, that bony ridge of your skull, relax your hand position and come back to your head turns. Nice. One more slow turn of the head from side to side. And then the next time your head's turned to the right, take little nods of the head up and down. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, turn your head to the left, take some slow nods of the head up and down. One more slow nod of the head up and down, and then slow, bring your head back to center. Lift your head up in that cervical nod. Move that roller out from underneath your head. Let your head return. Let the roller rest on your belly. And then hands are just going to stack on top of the roller to get that gentle sense of compression. So just the weight of the roller and the weight of your hands resting against your belly. Hold it there for a second. Think about where your rib cage is and see if you can think about anchoring the back of your rib cage down. Now take a big 360 breath. Fill up your rib cage as if you're trying to feel the back of the ground behind your rib cage. And then exhale, soft belly, let your air go. Inhale, big 360 breath. Breathe like you're trying to feel the ground behind the back of your rib cage. Exhale, soft belly, let your air go. Excellent. One more breath like that. Inhale, fill your rib cage up. Breathe into the back of your rib cage. Feel the ground beneath you. Exhale, soft belly, let your air go. Lovely. All right, take your foam roller, slip it underneath the bend of your knees, and then we're going to slide and glide the hamstrings. So you're going to get it underneath the backs of your thighs. And then you're going to just take your legs up into a slight hover and drag them out to that nice wide position and then drag them back in. And you want to just kind of let it feel like it's kind of tugging against the skin and the connective tissue at the backs of your thighs. Think increased blood flow, gentle sense of warmth that gets created. One more in and out, and then you're just going to reposition slightly. So maybe a little bit lower or maybe a little bit higher. Find a new spot that you can land on, and then right back to that glide. One more glide in and out, and then we're going to stay in our supine position. Walk that foam roller down just a touch so it comes underneath your calf muscles. And then once you've got it underneath your calf muscles, shoot for finding like the thickest, meatiest part of your calf muscle, and then just let the toes spill out, let the toes come in. So for my yoga friends, think kind of corpse rolls, roll it out, roll it in. So you get a little internal rotation, a little external rotation. All right, now as you're rolling across your calf muscles, they might feel fluid. They might feel like there's no knots, there's no nothing showing up, and that's nice. If you feel like for me, on my right calf muscle, slightly to the outer edge of my calf muscle, I can feel there's a little as I roll, it kind of want to hop over a little bit of thickness of muscle. So you're going to find a spot that feels kind of interesting. Turn both legs towards that spot and then point and flex your feet. All right, now imagine that spot on the other side. Turn both legs towards that spot on the other side and point and flex your feet. Beautiful. Take one more moment there and then come back to center. And now we're taking that foam roller for a walk. So you're going to walk it down towards your ankles, Achilles tendons, and then you're going to walk it back up towards your pits of your knees. Lovely. Take one more moment and then we're going to go into butterfly position with the foam roller to give us that support. So you're going to hug your foam roller in, walk your legs in, get into that butterfly position, and then just really stuff that foam roller so it comes nice and firmly underneath your thighs so that you can reduce effort here, because we're reducing effort here to put a little effort here. Arms are going to float up in front of your chest, palms facing in like you're holding a ball in front of your heart. As you exhale, you're going to cervical nod, sternum lift, hold like you're reaching that ball up towards the ceiling, and then inhale, slow return, sternum, and then the back of your head. Exhale, cervical nod, lift the sternum, hold like you're reaching that ball towards the ceiling, and then slow release, sternum returns, lengthen your neck as your head returns. Exhale, sternum lift. Inhale, slow return. Exhale, lift. Inhale, return. Last three, if you can, eyeballs looking at the ceiling like you're really trying to get that imaginary ball up there. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, slow return. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, slow return. Beautiful. Last one here. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, slow return. Let your hands find the sides of your thighs. Help lift your legs up and together. Use your arms, come up in a nice organized way. And then we're flipping it all around so that we can bring front pockets of the jeans onto the roller. So spin yourself around in a way that makes good sense. Get your hip bones onto the foam roller. You do have your blanket nearby. So if it's a very tender point, put your blanket across the roller. It's going to give that little bit of softness, that nice cushioning. Sometimes the cushioning is about telling your nervous system that everything's good. It doesn't mean it reduces the work. It just reduces the effort of your mind. All right, so once you've got your hip bones onto your foam roller, take it into a light little hip slush. Just let your hips slush a little from side to side. Once you've hip slushed just enough, we're going to roll from hip to hip. So you're going to roll across those front protruding hip bones, take it to the right, and then roll across those bones, taking it to the left. Go nice and slow. Take your time. This is one of those places where if you're looking for that way that you can organize so that it feels sturdy as you go, if it felt good to be on that blade edge pinky side of your hand, you make those little through triangles to give you that nice base of support. You take it over to one side and then you take it over to the other. Lovely. One more roll to each side. And then the next time you come to the right side, stay there and take it into a little tip forward and back. Tip into the front pockets of your jeans, tip into the back pockets of your jeans. One more rock forward and back. And then when you're ready, slow float through center, take your time, come across the hip bones, take it over to the left. And then once you're on that left side, little tip forward and back into the front pocket of the jeans and towards the back pockets of your jeans. Beautiful. One more tip forward and back, and then slow roll your way back to center. Use your arms, use your hands, use your knees. Prop yourself up to tabletop position. Once you've got your tabletop position, take your forearms to the foam roller with your palms facing up and take a nice slow roll forward and back. All right, now we're going to keep palms facing up and you're going to shoot for the closer to the wrist portion of your forearm. So with the palms facing up, slightly close to the wrist, so you're in that little bit of that flat of the forearm, land on that spot, see if you can stay there, get sturdy in your upper body, put your butt weight back towards your heels so everything feels good. And now you're going to do some finger rolls. So you're going to roll your fingers in and out like you're coming into a fist and then going right back out. For a lot of us, it might not feel like anything except for twinkling of the fingers, but what we're doing is compressing that little sheet of fascia at the front of the forearm, and then we're just kind of moving a little bit of the work in on the inside. Take one more twinkle of the fingers, and then we're going to flip palms facing down and walk it out to puppy pose. So release your forearms, flip your palms facing down, stretch your arms out nice and long, arms as wide or as narrow as feels good. Let your chest sink down just a little bit. Let your butt weight back go back to your heels. Let your heart be nice and heavy. Take a nice big breath. We're going to come back in just enough so we can thread the needle. So you're going to bring that foam roller back so you have a little space to work, and then take your right arm, thread it through and underneath. Think right ear, right shoulder towards the ground as your left arm stays connected to the roller in that slight elevated position. And then you're just going to settle into that shape for a second and take a nice big breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, slow return. Now right hand's going to find the roller, left hand's going to thread through and underneath. So left ear, left shoulder towards the ground, right arm stretches out. And then once you've got that position that feels good, come back to your breath. Slow, intentional breath here. Excellent. Come back in nice and slow. We're going to go right hand on the ground, palm facing down. Left hand's going to steamroll the top of your hand. One more steamroll to the top of the hand and then roll off, flip, palm facing up, settle your butt weight back just a little bit so we're not putting too much injury to the wrist, and then steamroll the palm of your hand. Lovely. One more steamroll there. And then when you're ready, switch it over to the other side. Left hand down, palm facing down, steamroll the top of the hand. One more steamroll there. And then when you're ready, switch, flip the palm facing up, adjust your butt so that the wrist feels comfortable and safe, and then steamroll the palm. Beautiful. One more moment there. And then both palms centered on the foam roller, a little bit of a lift to the fingers and a little bit of a pivot. Think bug squish to both palms. One more pivot and squish, and then curl the toes under. Lift your knees up. Walk your feet towards the roller, and then steamroll the tops of the feet. Three rolls coming up. You're going to roll up the shins and then lift off, bring it down to the shoelaces. Roll up the shins. Pick it up, bring it to the shoelaces. Roll up the shins. Softly and carefully go over the knees. Three rolls up the thighs. Pick it up, bring it over the knees. Roll up your thighs. Pick it up. Roll up your thighs. Take it to the belly button line. Push and drag. Beautiful. One more push and drag, and then foam roller to the ground, tall setting, walking it back to a down dog stretch. So fingertips to the roller, walk yourself back. Find that nice stretched out upper back body. Put a little bend in your knees if your hamstrings still feel tight. Let your head soften into that space between your arms. Take a nice big breath. And then before we release, just a little wag of the tail, like you're pushing your back pockets one at a time, reaching back behind you. Nice. One more moment to wag the tail, and then let it come to stillness. Bend your knees, push down strong into your feet, come up nice and slow, give everything a little soft shoop, shake out the etch a sketch, clear your screen for a beautiful day. You guys are amazing. Nice work.